everybody. Today I'm going to make another thing that I usually fix around the holidays, and I'm making it for you. Now this is my version. This is how I do it. So I realize all of y'all have your own versions, and that's perfectly fine. So this is mine. So what I'm going to make for you is giblet gravy. So I hope you enjoy it, and it's a really simple way to do it, and my family loves it. So let's get cooking. Okay, what you will need to make my giblet gravy is I have some giblets already cooked, and I've cut them up. So it's probably about, I didn't measure it, so it's probably about a cup worth. I have 2 small eggs, hard-boiled eggs that I've chopped up, but I guess you could use 1 jumbo or 1 large. I have 1 cup of milk, or you can use heavy whipping cream or half and half. I have chicken broth. Now keep in mind, it's not Thanksgiving yet, so I don't have any drippings or anything from a Thanksgiving turkey being baked, but I do have my broth from my giblets when I cooked my giblets yesterday. So I have 2 cups of that. I have half of a large onion that I've chopped up. I have 5 tablespoons of regular all-purpose flour and 5 tablespoons of butter. You want your flour and your butter to be equal. So let's throw this all together. Okay, what I'm doing first is I put some olive oil in a small skillet, and I'm going to saute my onions until they're soft. I forgot to mention that my spices are salt and pepper. I may use a little garlic, I don't know, but for the basic spices are salt and pepper. I do not use poultry seasoning or sage or thyme of any of those because I am allergic to them. They give me asthma. So all of y'all that keep asking me, why don't I use this, why don't I use that? That's why. I'm allergic. If I wasn't allergic, I would use it. So I am using salt and pepper. Okay, next I'm taking my butter, my 5 tablespoons of butter, and I'm melting it. And in a minute, I'm going to add my 5 tablespoons of all-purpose flour to it, and we're going to make a roux. All right, adding the flour, and we're making a roux. You want to stir it around. And yes, for those of you that wonder, I do have a whisk, but I choose not to use it. I like using a spatula. But yes, we're going to see how the flour and the butter make kind of a paste. We're just going to cook it until it gets like a little golden brown. Whatever seasonings that you choose to use, I would add them at this time, so the heat can bring out the flavors of the seasonings. If you want to use your poultry seasoning or your sage, whatever it is that you like, then go right ahead. Oh, my salt doesn't want to come out. That way the heat brings out the flavor of your seasoning while your roux is cooking. As far as your roux goes, the darker your roux gets, I'm sure you know this, the darker your gravy will be. So it's up to you on how dark you want to make your roux. I'm just going to make mine where it's a little bit golden. Okay, I'm going to add my 1 cup of milk. Now that I've got my roux the way I want it. You're going to see that it's going to get thick. So I'm going to slowly add, I have 2 cups of broth set aside. I'm going to slowly add some. My fire is on like a medium high. And you're going to want to stir, 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 stir. This is basically how you make cream gravy too. See, it's already getting thicker. Add some more broth. I also have some reserve broth set back in case I use this up. To where you stir, 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 and when you get it to the thickness that you want, which for I believe, I may be wrong, but for gravy, like a giblet gravy, you don't want it really thick. You want it a little bit on the, you know, medium side. I'm going to go ahead and add in my onions while I'm waiting for that to bubble up. Seeing it's thickening up even more, so I'm going to add that's all of my broth. Now I have some extra broth set aside in case it thickens up even more. And go ahead and add my giblets and add my boiled egg. If you don't want egg in your giblet gravy, that's fine. You don't have to put egg in it. Okay. A little more broth. I started out with the 2 cups to begin with because I wasn't sure how thick it was going to get, but now that I know that it's starting to get a little thicker, then some of my reserve that I had set back, I just used some of it. You can use water, you know, you can use more milk if you want, just whatever you need to add a little more liquid just to get it to the right thickness or thinness that you want. This is looking pretty good for giblet gravy. Let it cook for a little bit longer and then we'll see what it's like. All right, my giblet gravy is done. It's perfect. I went ahead and tasted it and adjusted my salt and pepper a little more to my liking, which that's what you can do when you're cooking it at home. But it is perfect. This is the way it's supposed to look. Now, like I said, you can make it any thickness or thinness that you want. Make it your own. Get creative. Use any seasonings that you want. This probably made around 3 to 4 cups of giblet gravy. There you go, everybody. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Like I said, if you don't want the egg, don't put it in. If you don't want the onions, don't put it in. This is how I make mine. You can use it as a baseline to make yours and then add or take away what you want. So anyway, enjoy. Until my next video, happy eating.